Lived once, buried twice. Stories about people rising from the grave chill the blood. Fortunately, this does not happen today because people have learned to accurately determine the state of death and do not confuse it with a coma or deep sleep. However, past centuries were full of such terrifying stories. Our ancestors even took a number of measures so that people would not get up from their graves. In the past, stakes were driven into the chest of all the dead in order to be sure, or they built special structures by tying a thread to the finger of the deceased and bringing it out through a special tunnel, then attaching a bell to the end so that if the deceased woke up for some reason, he would pull the thread and the bell would ring, letting others know to dig him up right away. There were even special people who, for several days after the funeral, sat at the grave and waited for the bell to ring. Essie Dunbar was only 32 years old when she died of an epileptic seizure in 1915 in South Carolina. As was customary for an unmarried girl, her body was dressed in a beautiful wedding dress, laid in a coffin, and then the news of her death was sent to all of her family so that they could come to the funeral, which was scheduled for the next day. Everyone was on time except for her older sister, who lived in another city. As soon as she learned about the untimely death of her younger sister, she immediately set off on her journey, but she was still too late to say goodbye. When she arrived at the cemetery, her sister's body in a coffin had already been lowered into the grave, and the diggers took shovels and began to bury it. However, the elder sister was extremely indignant that they did not wait for her and did not allow her to say goodbye to her beloved younger sister. She immediately ordered that the coffin be dug back up and pulled out to give her the opportunity to kiss her sister one last time. She made such a scene that it was useless to argue with her, and the coffin was taken out and opened. As her sister leaned over the body to kiss the girl's forehead, she opened her eyes, looked at her, and then sat up and smiled broadly. Essie lived 40 more years after her failed funeral and died in 1955. This time, a lot of people came to her funeral. Everyone wanted to see if history would repeat itself with another resurrection, but the woman was gone for real this time.